Hello everyone and welcome to my General Hospital Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital spoilers claim that the show has published a sneak peek video for the upcoming episode on Monday, March 31st. Christina Corinthos Davis catches a glimpse of post-crash terror, as Rick Lansing tends to a head wound while spinal precautions are taken. Christina's passionate argument with Ava Jerome led her to make a disastrous decision. As GH fans are aware, it would have been bad enough if Christina had cut the brakes on Ava's automobile as she imagined, but she instead cut them on Rick's. Christina made a mistake based on who parked in Ava's place, and she'll be plagued with sorrow soon enough. Christina attempted to erase her tragic decision by racing to stop Ava, but she'll eventually realize her biggest error was destroying the incorrect car. The sneak peek video opens with a firefighter attempting to open Rick's car door after the incident. A paramedic then sights Rick's head wound and advises them to take spinal precautions. Rick, who is unconscious, gets fitted with a neck brace while blood streams from his forehead. Meanwhile, a nearby Christina looks horrified at the consequences of her actions. Of course, Christina will face more horrific circumstances after she realizes Elizabeth Baldwin is in the passenger seat. Liz is also expected to be badly injured, thus she will be the second innocent casualty in this situation. Christina may catch a glimpse of a scared Lucky Spencer, as she observes the paramedics in operation. Lucky will also end up near the destroyed automobile, and will be prevented from running toward the injured Elizabeth. Christina's thoughts will eventually turn to Molly Lansing Davis because her father's life is on the line. Christina is concerned that if Molly discovers her sister is to blame for Rick's trauma, she will despise her forever. According to General Hospital teasers, Rick and Liz will be admitted to the hospital for treatment, so their physicians will make medical predictions and provide updates on any crucial news. General Hospital spoilers claim that Sonny Corinthos and Jason Morgan are preparing for a wild Toronto finale. A twist will lead this story down a new route, so let's discuss what's in store. Thanks to Brick's investigation, Sonny and Jason discovered that the hitman known as Salisky was in Toronto. On the March 28th episode of General Hospital, Jason and Sonny cornered Salisky at his apartment following a quick flight. Since Salisky is the one who carried out the penthouse attack, Sonny and Jason have the opportunity to find out who hired him. However, Salisky is now in a terrible situation because he is in trouble regardless of what he does. If Salisky gives out his client's name, the betrayal could have terrible consequences. Salisky understands the importance of caution in this line of work, yet he risks his life by speaking out. Nonetheless, Sonny has threatened to shoot Salisky right in his living room if he does not cooperate. If Salisky spills now, Sonny has stated that he may still be able to disappear. Although Sonny and Jason hoped that this showdown would reveal the identity of Sonny's unknown antagonist, things are about to go wrong. Salisky is likely to make a last-ditch effort to get out of this predicament, so he may dive for a weapon and cause even more chaos. If Salisky is shot and killed, he will not be able to provide the answers Sonny and Jason were looking for. Jason may believe they've reached the end of the road with this lead, but Sonny predicts a more positive outcome. Sonny will still notice the opportunity to explore certain breadcrumbs related to Salisky and discover more facts. Even if Salisky dies, he may leave something in his apartment that can help Jason and Sonny. It's also feasible that Sonny and Jason will set a Salisky-related trap to pull his client out. Things are about to get wild in Toronto either way. Jason and Sonny will not achieve the outcome they hoped for, but they will regroup in the aftermath and finalize some strategy adjustments. According to General Hospital spoilers, Sonny will continue to be desperate to track down the secret enemy who has been pursuing him, so stay tuned for more surprising news. Lulu and Lucky sat down to talk at Charlie's. Lulu was astonished to learn that Lucky had booked a weekend getaway with Elizabeth in New York City. Lulu agreed to keep an eye on Aiden, but she had a specific question for Lucky. "Are you sure you want to do this?" she inquired. Lulu thought it was perilous to return to a place that meant so much to them because so much had changed in the last 25 years. "You have spent more time apart than you spent together, and you both picked up a lot of emotional baggage on the way," she told me. Lucky tried to remain hopeful that the vacation would go perfectly. "Returning to a place that was so meaningful to us is not about regaining the past. It's about considering the future," he explained. Lulu eventually changed her mind and agreed with Lucky. Ava and Rick sighed as they heard Christina hammering on the door and yelling for Ava to let her in. Okay, listen to that. The noises of Christina Corinthos Davis become increasingly agitated, Ava explained. Rick dashed into another room so Christina wouldn't notice him, blowing his truce with Alexis sky high. Ava let Christina in to say her piece. However, please remain away from the window. I don't want a repeat of the last time you barged in on me, Ava naively stated. Christina was angry. Did you just make a joke about my baby dying? Christina asked. I would never make a joke about baby Irene, Ava explained. Christina became enraged and insisted on calling the baby Adela. Christina accused Ava of killing her baby yet again. Ava quickly had enough and proposed that she and Christina avoid each other. She opened the door for Christina to leave, but she continued to shout. Where the hell do you get off thinking you could drag my father back to court? She said with rage. That drew Ava's attention, leading the situation to worsen. As a mother, I would do everything to protect my child. Something you plainly do not understand. Because you're not a mother, Ava stated. She even threatened to reveal Sunny's health problems if she could keep custody of Avery. Christina finally lost it. You took my brother. You took Adela. You won't steal my father. I'll stop you, Ava. I will, Christina warned before walking away. Rick then appeared from the other room commenting, based on Christina's reaction, Sunny's health issue could be serious. Rick advised Ava to tread carefully with her threats. Elizabeth just called with the information about Portia that he had asked. She offered to drop off the mail at Ava's. When Rick hung up, he grudgingly acknowledged to Ava that he had provided Liz a few general details about Portia's case, and that Liz was only trying to help. Ava did not believe Liz was acting altruistically. She's snooping for the hospital and she's using you to do it, Ava says. Rick brushed off Ava's charges, but she was upset because she had introduced Rick to Portia. You have gone against the attorney-client privilege you have with Portia, Ava told her. Rick was saddened by Ava's statements and told her he believed Elizabeth wanted to help him. Elizabeth quickly arrived and overheard Rick and Ava arguing through the door. Rick let her in, but then offered to give Liz a lift home because she had used a rideshare. All Ava could do was roll her eyes. Christina, in hysterics, eyed the automobile in Ava's parking slot in the garage. Surprisingly, a bag of tools including a wire cutter was right there in the garage. Christina grabbed the wire cutter, but the next time we saw her she was at Charlie's. Lucky could tell Christina was upset the moment she walked in. Christina started telling Lucky what had happened, but when she stated, I lost it, Christina knew she had truly lost it. I made a mistake, but I will repair it. I can fix it, she exclaimed before running. Lucky, terrified, grabbed his car keys and chased her. Christina drove towards Ava's house while trying to call her, but she ignored the calls. Meanwhile, Rick and Liz clashed in the car, and he wondered whether Ava was correct. Was she using him? Liz suddenly ordered Rick to slow down, but when he used the brakes, the car refused to stop. The automobile veered off the road as the screen went black. Tracy had earlier encountered Elizabeth in the hospital halls, checking to see if Stella was still present. Liz informed Tracy that Stella had just left and inquired as to Monica's well-being. Tracy stated that Monica was enjoying one of her best days. Let's hope she doesn't find out that Drew is trying to dig up her late husband, Tracy said. Liz was surprised to learn of Drew's plans for the crypt, because it did not sound like the Drew she had nearly married a decade ago. Tracy stated that she was doing her best to shelter Monica from the incident, because she's already furious with Drew for multiple reasons. When Trina heard bulldozers outside the Q tomb, she became worried and demanded to know what was going on. Councilman Boyle emerged and informed her that he had signed the demolition order. Emma and Gio were immediately following Boyle, determined to put an end to this. Boyle was upset to discover that the demolition could not start until the property's owner, Monica, was served. The sheriff went up to the residence and served the papers. The hubbub caused Yuri to contact Tracy and tell her to come home straight now. The sheriff returned and warned Boyle not to order the destruction due to legal issues with serving the papers to a domestic employee. Boyle didn't see the issue, but Emma did. So she announced she had a solution and walked away for a while. Trina used her phone to capture everything, just like Emma had done 2 weeks before. When the bulldozer operator learned what this task entailed, he walked away declaring, "I don't deal in bodies." Boyle, enraged, ordered him back but was unsuccessful before instructing Trina to hang up the phone. Trina stated that she was practicing her First Amendment rights and continued recording. The next thing they knew, Emma had shackled herself to the building. Gio and Trina joined Emma in front of the building to document Boyle's reaction. Tracy arrived and demanded that the men leave the Q property. She also wanted to know what Boyle had planned for Emma. Emma, who was frightened, requested that Gio contact Anna for assistance with the problem. Tracy was so taken with Emma that she sat next to her and used the chain from her purse to join them in solidarity. Tracy then delivered a speech over Trina's phone. "This is not about safeguarding the environment. This is about Congressman Kane using city resources to wage a personal war on his former family," she declared. When Anna came, she was astounded to see Emma, but after reading the order, she declined to assist. "I apologize. The law is the law," Anna explained. Kai met with Drew in his congressional office to discuss the hospital sports project and his football career. Kai was certain his career was ended, but Drew had doubts. He recommended Kai see a professional for a second opinion. He even knew a few people who were experimenting with therapies. Drew even volunteered to pay for the operation. Kai was taken aback by Drew's offer and imagined he wanted something in exchange. Drew believed Kai had heard some unpleasant things about him from Trina and Curtis. Drew seized the opportunity to defend himself. Drew tried to make what he did to Curtis seem benign, but Kai wasn't convinced. Instead, he understood that it would be beneficial if Drew mentored someone who made it to the NFL. Sonny and Jason talked about their latest mission on the plane to Toronto. Sonny promised to make whoever hired Selitsky pay, but they needed to find him first. "We need the client's name so we can't go in there guns blazing," Sonny told the team. He also acknowledged that he didn't know what he'd do if she saw the man who had lit his son on fire. Selitsky strolled in just as Sonny was sitting in a chair in what appeared to be Maxie's old apartment. The first thing he noticed was Sonny aiming a gun at him. "I made myself at home in your house just as you did in mine. You placed an incendiary device. You became sloppy. You didn't understand me. You got my son instead," Sonny charged. Sonny demanded to know who hired the man, but Selitsky maintained he was unaware. Sonny did not purchase it. The man attempted to flee, but Jason was on the other side of the door, armed with a revolver. Sasha and Maxie got together for coffee and dessert, and Sasha gave Maxie an ultrasound photo that made her gush. Sasha also said that she will continue to work as the Q cook for the time being. Sasha informed Maxie that she had enough money to care for her kid, which allowed her to move on to the next topic. She apologized for claiming that Sidwell had kidnapped her, and wanted the deception ladies to work with him. Maxie was astonished by the change, but Sasha insisted. Post-crash horror. Christina Spies and the aftermath of Rick's head wound and spinal precautions. Introduction. In the high-stakes world of soap operas, dramatic accidents and life-threatening injuries are common plot devices used to heighten tension and emotional engagement. One such harrowing storyline unfolded in The Young and the Restless, where Christina Spies, a beloved character, faced the terrifying aftermath of a car crash involving Rick. The incident left Rick with a severe head wound and necessitated strict spinal precautions, plunging Christina into a nightmare of fear, guilt, and uncertainty. This essay delves into the post-crash horror experienced by Christina Spies, focusing on Rick's traumatic head injury and the critical need for spinal precautions. We will explore the medical implications of such injuries, the psychological toll on Christina, and the broader narrative impact of this storyline. The crash. A moment that changed everything. The car crash that set this tragic sequence in motion was a classic soap opera twist. Unexpected, violent, and life-altering. Whether caused by reckless driving, a mechanical failure, or foul play, the collision left Rick unconscious, bleeding profusely from a head wound, and at risk of spinal damage. For Christina, witnessing the accident or arriving at the scene afterward would have been a traumatic experience, marked by shock and desperation. The immediate aftermath, chaos and fear. First reactions. Christina's initial response would have been a mix of panic and instinctive action, calling for help, attempting to stabilize Rick, and fearing the worst. Emergency response. Paramedics arriving on the scene would have immediately assessed Rick's condition, recognizing the severity of his head injury and the potential for spinal trauma. Understanding Rick's injuries, head wounds and spinal precautions. 1. The severity of head wounds. Head injuries, particularly those involving significant bleeding or trauma, can range from mild concussions to life-threatening brain damage. In Rick's case, the visible head wound suggested a possible skull fracture or intracranial bleeding, both of which require urgent medical intervention. Potential complications. Brain swelling. Edema. Increased pressure inside the skull can lead to permanent brain damage or death if not treated promptly. Hemorrhage. Bleeding within the brain, intracerebral hemorrhage, or between the brain and skull, subdural or epidural hematoma, may necessitate surgical intervention. Infection risk. Open head wounds are vulnerable to infections, complicating recovery. 2. The critical need for spinal precautions. Given the force of the crash, Rick would have been at high risk for spinal injuries, particularly fractures or dislocations that could damage the spinal cord. Even a slight movement could worsen the injury, leading to paralysis or permanent neurological deficits. Standard spinal precautions include immobilization, using a cervical collar and backboard to prevent movement. Careful transport, ensuring no unnecessary jostling during ambulance transit. Diagnostic imaging, CT scans or MRIs to assess spinal integrity before any adjustments are made. For Christina, seeing Rick immobilized and helpless would have been a horrifying sight, reinforcing the gravity of the situation. Christina's emotional turmoil, guilt, fear, and helplessness. Beyond the medical crisis, the psychological impact on Christina would have been profound. 1. Survivor's guilt. If Christina was involved in the crash but escaped with minor injuries, she might have been plagued by guilt, wondering why she was spared while Rick suffered. 2. Fear of loss. Rick's condition would have forced Christina to confront the possibility of his death or permanent disability, triggering intense grief and anxiety. 3. Helplessness in the face of uncertainty. Medical jargon, prolonged waiting periods, and the unpredictability of head and spinal injuries would have left Christina in agonizing suspense. The hospital vigil, a test of strength. As Rick underwent surgery or remained in a coma, Christina's ordeal would have continued in the hospital, a setting rife with emotional tension. Key moments in the hospital arc. Doctor's grim prognosis. Each update could bring hope or devastation. Family and friends' reactions. Secondary characters would add layers of conflict or support. Flashbacks and regrets. Christina might replay moments leading up to the crash, questioning decisions made. Long-term consequences. Recovery or permanent change. Depending on the writer's direction, Rick's injuries could lead to a miraculous recovery, common in soaps, but less realistic. Ongoing disabilities, such as memory loss, motor impairments, or chronic pain. Personality changes. Brain injuries sometimes lead to altered behavior, adding future drama. For Christina, Rick's long-term condition would shape her character arc, whether she becomes his caretaker, struggles with resentment, or finds new strength. Conclusion. The power of trauma in storytelling. The post-crash horror involving Christina Spies and Rick's head wound and spinal precautions is a masterclass in soap opera drama. It combines medical realism with deep emotional stakes, forcing characters and audiences alike to grapple with fear, guilt, and resilience. Whether Rick recovers fully or faces lasting challenges, the aftermath of the crash will leave an indelible mark on Christina's life, proving that in the world of daytime drama, a single moment can change everything. Sunny and Jason's wild Toronto outcome, mystery heads down new path. The unexpected and chaotic events surrounding Sunny and Jason in Toronto have taken a dramatic turn, leading the unfolding mystery down an entirely new and unpredictable path. What began as a seemingly straightforward situation has spiraled into a complex web of intrigue, danger, and unanswered questions. The latest developments have left fans and followers on the edge of their seats, eagerly anticipating what comes next in this high-stakes saga. The setup: a journey gone wrong. Sunny and Jason arrived in Toronto with a clear objective, but their plans quickly unraveled. Whether they were pursuing a lead, evading enemies, or caught in a larger conspiracy, their presence in the city set off a chain reaction of wild encounters. The bustling streets of Toronto, with their mix of urban energy and shadowy underworld, became the backdrop for a series of shocking twists. From the outset, tensions ran high. A chance meeting with a mysterious informant, an ambush in an alleyway, or a cryptic message left behind. Every clue seemed to pull them deeper into danger. The duo, known for their resilience and street-smart tactics, found themselves outmaneuvered at times, forcing them to adapt quickly. The turning point. A game-changing revelation. Just when it seemed like Sunny and Jason had a handle on the situation, a bombshell revelation altered the course of their mission. Perhaps a trusted ally turned out to be a traitor, or a hidden enemy emerged from the shadows. Maybe a long-buried secret resurfaced, connecting past events to their current predicament in ways they never anticipated. This turning point sent shockwaves through the narrative, raising new questions. Who can they trust? Loyalties have been tested, and alliances have shifted. What is the true endgame? The stakes are higher than they originally believed. How deep does the conspiracy go? Every answer seems to lead to more mysteries. The wild outcome. Chaos and consequences. The fallout from this revelation was immediate and explosive. A high-speed chase through downtown Toronto, a tense standoff in a hidden location, or a desperate escape. Sunny and Jason were pushed to their limits. The city's landmarks, from the CN Tower to the Distillery District, may have played a role in their harrowing journey. But the biggest surprise came in the form of an unexpected twist, one that no one saw coming. Whether it was a sudden betrayal, an unforeseen ally stepping in, or a shocking sacrifice, the outcome defied all expectations. The mystery didn't just deepen, it veered off into uncharted territory, leaving fans wondering, what happens now? The new path, what lies ahead? With the Toronto chapter taking such a wild turn, the story is now headed in a fresh direction. Old assumptions have been shattered, and new threats or opportunities have emerged. Key possibilities for the next phase include a hidden mastermind. Was someone pulling the strings all along? A race against time. Are Sunny and Jason now on a ticking clock? Unfinished business. Does this new path tie back to their past in ways they don't yet understand? One thing is certain, the mystery is far from over. If anything, it's only getting more intense. Conclusion. A thrilling ride with more to come. Sunny and Jason's wild Toronto outcome has reshaped the narrative in ways that promise even more suspense, action, and unexpected twists. As the mystery heads down this new path, fans can only speculate about what dangers and revelations await next. Will Sunny and Jason uncover the truth? Or will they find themselves trapped in an even deadlier game? One thing's for sure, the stakes have never been higher, and the next chapter is bound to be unforgettable. Rick and Liz crash as Christina cuts the wrong brakes. The sound of screeching tires tore through the air, a chilling prelude to the chaos that was about to unfold. It had started as an ordinary evening, with Rick Lansing and Elizabeth Weber preparing for what should have been a quiet night together. But fate had a cruel twist in store, one that would send them hurtling toward disaster. Christina Corinthos Davis had been simmering with anger for weeks. The resentment she felt toward her father, Sonny Corinthos, had reached a boiling point. She was tired of living in his shadow, tired of feeling like an afterthought. She had concocted a plan, one that would send a message he wouldn't soon forget. But in her haste, her inexperience, she made a devastating mistake. Her target had been Sonny's car. She had meant to sabotage his brakes to teach him a lesson, one that wouldn't kill him, just scare him enough to make him realize how much pain he had caused. But in a cruel twist of fate, Christina had misidentified the vehicle. Instead of tampering with Sonny's sleek black sedan, she had unknowingly cut the brakes of Rick Lansing's car, unaware of the devastating consequences her actions would unleash. The fateful drive. Rick and Liz had spent the evening at the Metro Court, enjoying a quiet dinner. Their relationship had been through countless ups and downs, but on that night, there was an unspoken truce between them. As they stepped out into the cool night air, Rick tossed Liz a warm smile. "Ready to head home?" he asked, unlocking the car. Liz nodded, slipping into the passenger seat. She had been feeling unusually lighthearted, a rare moment of peace washing over her. She had no idea that in mere moments, that peace would be shattered beyond recognition. The car pulled out of the parking garage, rolling smoothly onto the darkened streets of Port Charles. Rick's hands gripped the wheel as he navigated the familiar roads. But as they approached an intersection, he pressed the brake pedal, and nothing happened. Panic sets in. Rick's heart pounded in his chest as he pressed harder, slamming his foot down, but the car refused to slow. Instead, it picked up speed. "Liz, something's wrong," he said, his voice tight with panic. Liz glanced at him, frowning. "What do you mean?" "The brakes, they're not working." Liz's eyes widened as realization set in. "Oh my God." Rick's hands gripped the wheel with white-knuckled force as the car barreled through the intersection, narrowly missing another vehicle. The honking horns and flashing lights were drowned out by Liz's panicked breathing. "Try the emergency brake," she screamed. Rick yanked at it, but the handle offered no resistance. It had been cut as well. Traffic lights blurred past them as Rick fought to maintain control. His mind raced through options, but they were running out of road. The cliffs that bordered the town were looming ahead. If they didn't find a way to stop, they would go over the edge. A last-ditch effort. Liz clutched the seat, her knuckles turning white. "We have to do something." Rick's mind raced. "I'm going to try to crash us into something before we hit the cliffs. It's our only chance." Liz swallowed hard, nodding. The fear in her eyes was unmistakable, but she trusted Rick to do whatever he could to save them. With a sharp turn, Rick aimed for a guardrail, hoping the impact would slow them down enough to avoid total catastrophe. The car slammed into the metal barrier, the sound of crumpling metal and shattering glass filling the air. Liz screamed as the force threw them forward, the seatbelts cutting into their bodies. But the momentum was too strong.